How are you doing, Jodie?
Hey, pretty good.
Good. I'm going to begin by asking, you pick your roles quite sporadically, but very intelligently these days. I wondered what goes into your decision now when it comes to taking on a role, and specifically what went into the decision to sign up to this project?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's sort of instinctual, and it's about what moves me. And a number of years ago, maybe 10 years ago, where I really sat down and said, now I just, as an actor, my one goal is to make films that I care about and that feel meaningful to me. And otherwise, I'd rather be directing, or I'd rather be doing other things in life. So I get to be picky, which is really nice. I got this script and I was so moved by the story of Mohamedou, and I was like, okay, I'll do it. And then I was able to, then the next step was to think about Nancy and who is Nancy, and to put together that character, which I haven't played that many real life characters. So it was a bit of a challenge for me.
Yeah. Did you meet Nancy? Did you find that helpful? Because I know some actors like to kind of not meet the person they're portraying until maybe after the project. Because is this only the second time, I think, in your career you've played a real person?
Yeah, the other real person I played had been dead for a couple hundred years, so it was a little bit easier to take license. No, it was really helpful meeting her and being able to go to her house and see like her little tchotchkes and the things that she collected, and to see like what color nail varnish she used and lipstick and things like that. That being said, I did change her character quite a bit. I think I did make her a little more forceful and a little tougher than the real Nancy. The real Nancy is a lovely person. My character in the film is a bit meaner than that. But she didn't mind. I think she was happy to let that go. She understood that she wanted to serve Mohamedou's story, and that was the best way to do it.
So when I first saw A Prophet all those years ago, I remember thinking that Tahar Rahim reminded me of like Robert De Niro. He had that kind of special quality that's quite rare in actors. And obviously, as someone who has worked with Robert De Niro, how does he kind of compare to some of your sort of best kind of on-screen kind of partners? I mean, because I find him to be a very gifted actor.
Yeah, he's a wonderful actor. And I was just really, really thrilled to be able to work with him. I saw On Prophet as well, the ODR movie years ago, and immediately pointed at him and said, that guy's amazing. You're right, a young Robert De Niro kind of thing. There's a quietness to him, I think a reserved quality to him that is very internal, which is wonderful. But he really captured the joy of Mohamedou. I mean, essentially, Mohamedou really is a joyful spirit. He's somebody who wants to live and who is affectionate and warm and loving. And the government tried to beat that out of him, and he didn't let them.
I mean, obviously, this film is very much focused on the kind of aftermath of 9/11. And perhaps we didn't have the ability at the time to make rational judgments because we were kind of so caught up in it. But looking back, it was a crazy time politically, wasn't it? I mean, do you ever find yourself looking back?
Oh, yeah. I mean, this movie's really forced me to look at that time. I mean, I remember exactly where I was, right? I was pregnant. I was about to give birth to my second child 10 days later, I think, after 9/11. And I was on bed rest, like sitting there watching the television. My older son was about to go to preschool. He was for his first day in preschool. And it was such a vulnerable time for us. And now 10 years later, I think, 20 years later, it's the right time to be able to look back and say, what was our part in that, and what could we have done better, and where did we lose our humanity, where did we lose our way? And this film really examines that in similar ways that we've been able to do with other dark parts of our history, whether it's the Jim Crow South or Japanese imprisonment camps. We have to look back. We need to look back and say, how did we get there?
Yeah, just very quickly before I go, because I mean, you're talking about looking back, are you a nostalgic person? Because obviously the events of the last year sort of forced many of us to be quite reflective. I just wondered if you've used this time to look back over the remarkable career you've had.
Oh gosh, I think that's the last thing that I've been doing is thinking about my career in the last year. Yeah, this has been an interesting moment in our history. I think we will be forever changed, especially our kids will be forever changed by this moment. It has been kind of like a wartime. And the hardest part for me has really been about other people, really just looking at other people's lives. I mean, I'm fine kind of reading more books and being home, but it's been very difficult watching people suffer and not being able to do very much about it. That's the hardest part.
Well, good movies are getting us through it, like this one. But thank you so much for your time today, Jodie. Best of luck with the release.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys.
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey You Guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yes.
Nice.
Hey You Guys.